David Andrew Weeb, founder of Spark Infinity niche-based Facebook group. David, what is going on in Spark Infinity?
Spark Infinity has been growing pretty rapidly since January. We started with literally 4 or 5 members, now to well over 1,400 people, serving creatives and creators, poets, artists, visual artists, musicians, actors, actresses.
What should members of Spark Infinity be prepared for? What are the live shows about?
We like to interview people and get a sense of who they are, the kind of things they do, highlight them, and especially their amazingness, their personality, their superpowers, whatever makes them great. That's what we like to highlight in those conversations.
So how could members of Spark Infinity also benefit from Bump Global?
For one thing, there are so many amazing heart-centered founders of various niche-based Facebook groups that if you wanted to be interviewed, you could just put yourself in the middle of the storm and find all kinds of groups to be featured in and interviewed in all day long. And the other thing is, if they have the desire and the work ethic to build their own niche-based Facebook group and blow it up, that's another opportunity that's waiting for them. And I only see things growing from there.
Spark Infinity, hope you've been having a great day. Welcome to the community where we highlight you, your creativity, your amazingness, your personality, everything that you are. I'm happy to take you live at any time. All you got to do is drop me in the chat or in the comments and I'll get in touch with you. Whether you want to do a quick show and tell, whether you want to have a conversation, whether you want to do a more formalized interview, it's up to you. I'm open to catering to different formats. We have a self-serve book on the website at sparkinfinity.live that could not be more straightforward. If you want to go ahead and do it yourself and get set up for an interview, that's all you got to do. Head on over to sparkinfinity.live. There's 2 buttons above the fold, and I think it's the button on the right. You just got to click that one. You'll be in. You'll go through the few process. It's really like a 5-step process, but honestly, it's 4 steps because the 5th step is you're done. So go through the quick 5-step process, and we'd be happy to have you on the show. Today, I wanted to continue to talk about the new book that's coming, How to Set Up Your Music Career Like a Business, the book. As I mentioned yesterday, and so some of this content or some of what I'm sharing today is going to overlap with what I shared yesterday, but there are some crucial details here. So if there's a bit of repetition, I hope you'll bear with me. So how to set up your music career like a business, the book. This was my flagship and really my first audio program ever launched. I hadn't even released anything, to use a marketing term, info product before. This was my first ever info product release. And my name kind of became synonymous with it. Artists appreciated it. Business people understood the value of it. And they were even like, how did you come up with this? And that led to joint ventures and affiliate programs, or affiliate partnerships, I should say. And, all these really unexpected but really cool things started happening with that program. But somehow, some way, it faded into obscurity over the years. Maybe it was because I received a little bit of what I perceived as being criticism. I can now see what the issue was and what was maybe a little bit missing in the original resource. But I mean, I've come a long way since the original creation, and I'm more than capable, more than set up to improve upon and expand upon and make this thing way better than it ever was. Whatever the reason for having abandoned it, and for whatever its reason for having faded into obscurity, it came back into my crosshairs. And so that idea to turn this thing into a book, I opened a new document and I started working on it like a man possessed. I'm telling you. So that's how I knew for sure this was an inspired idea. And that also meant that I need to go and set up the pre-order page as quickly as possible. This book's not going to take forever for me to put together. Now, I am still kind of pondering and mulling over what exactly needs to be said and in what order and what belongs to what section. But aside from that, I've not only lived this, I've listened to my audio program multiple times. So I know what's in there and I know what the most valuable and the key points are. Now, I I think I would think differently about, or I do think differently about how to actually set up your music career like a business nowadays compared to when I originally released this audio program. But that's going to be reflected ultimately in the revised and expanded version, which is going to be the book. Now, this coincides with, and today is not the official launch of what I'm going to talk about. So, like, if you're watching this right now, you're getting a little bit of a reveal that others aren't ultimately getting right now. But I mentioned yesterday that contentmarketingmusician.com, that was my website, that was where all of my courses and programs and books and other things, we'll call them sales funnels, again, to use a marketing term, it all lived there over at Content Marketing Musician. And I made the switch, and it happened quickly, which is good, and mostly smoothly. Kind of had to figure out things with Stripe and PayPal and all the integrations, but it is now up and available at indiecareerformula.com. Now, this is still a test launch. Like I said, this is not even the official launch yet. And so there's maybe links that don't work. There's maybe text that needs correcting. And you may not, you can buy some things there, but you can't buy everything. You can't buy the main membership yet. That's because it's not set up. But I am in the process of setting that up, and I'm super excited about it. And of course, I will be sharing about it as things continue on, and we continue to develop this brand new website and membership. I'll show you a little bit of what we've been up to and what I've been thinking. Again, this being a test launch, things are bound to and may and could change down the line. But for now, we've got some information here. If you go to indiecareerformula.com, you'll notice it looks, I won't say nothing like contentmarketingmusician.com, but it looks new, it looks fresh, it looks clean, right? That's really the intention, is like, this is, for me, it's a return to form. So I wanted to make this simple as possible while also being attractive. So you get a little bit of information about the membership. You get some information about me, where I've come from, what I've done, the things that I've been able to accomplish to this point, some kind things people have said about me. This does not drone on and on. I've chosen 5 testimonials or quotes or press and media coverage that would apply. I may add more in the future, quite likely, as people begin to discover and enjoy the content and all that kind of stuff. But that's what's there right now. And this is what we're thinking in terms of the membership and the membership benefits, what's available to people who join Indie Career Formula. And as you can see, I didn't count this in advance. Is it 12 items? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you get 10 items when you join. And these are all valued at different price points. This is very much realistic. People sometimes their numbers are made up. Yeah, but everything's kind of made up. And like, businesses account for margin and the cost of goods and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, pricing is all made up. So you can make that point if you want to, but it's mostly in vain, my friend. So I've got a list of things that come with the membership, and I'm really kind of giving you everything here. Now, when I say everything, I'm not necessarily giving you my entire library of books, although this does come with one book, because frankly, there's no point in you having access to the Code Breaker course if you don't have the Music Entrepreneur Code book. That's why it's included. But just to go down that list real quick, you're going to get the print newsletter. You're going to get the digital newsletter archives, in which you'll be able to view all the past newsletter issues that came out. You're going to get that book I talked about. You're going to get the access to the forum. You're going to get access to members-only audios, which this year we're going to reach 250 audios. We've had some issues with the archives, which we're rebuilding, but at the end of the day, you're getting insane amounts of content there. You're going to get all 5 of my courses. So that includes those titles mentioned here: Entrepreneurial Essentials Masterclass, Digital Marketing Essentials Masterclass, the Code Breaker course, the Creative Career Omnibus. Honestly, that should cost what college tuition costs. The course isn't done per se, but the extent of it, the scope of it, the depth of it is going to be on par with a college education, I would say. And Treasure Box of Inspiration, all this I'm saying that it's about total value is 2570. It will be considerably more than that if you were to add up the things that are noted as per month in there. And you'll notice there's 4 items there. So if you multiply those by 12, you're going to actually get closer to the real value that one is getting when they sign up for this membership. And the option is to try it out for 30 days for $19.95, and for every month after, $97 a month. That's it. So that's what we're thinking for the membership right now. But as far as things that you can purchase, as far as things you can pre-order, as far as things that you can tap into right now, you're going to want to go to indiecareerformula.com. Again, let's get that. There we go. It's on screen. You want to go to indiecareerformula.com. And next to the join link or in the menu, there's specials. You want to click specials. And I'm going to be adding a couple more things here. In fact, we're probably going to be rotating through different items here. But you'll notice the first thing is how to set up your music career like a business. That's where you find the book that I was talking about today. And there are a couple of other things that may be of interest to you. A couple other book bundles. You can get the Productivity Performance Profits Black Book for just shipping. I'm only asking you to cover the shipping. You can get the Digital Nomad ebook plus 6 bonuses for just $10. You can get a limited edition t-shirt. That's pretty cool. I happen to own a couple for just $23. But how to set up your music career like a business is the one that you want to click. That's the one that I'm talking about today. You want to click claim this offer. Go to the info page where you can learn more about it. If you want to read it, more than welcome to. And then you want to click one of these, 2 of these pre-order buttons. So you can pre-order the hardcover book for $27. And then all you got to do is enter your information here. It's super simple. And again, to highlight, because this isn't necessarily on the info page, but to highlight everything you're actually getting, you're getting a signed copy of the hardcover book. You're going to get the ebook version, and you're going to get the original audio program. The original audio program is going to be available as a digital download immediately. You're not going to have to wait for it. That's already there. You will have to wait for the book and the ebook because, as I said, it's in pre-order right now. But those are coming, and those are going to be on their way. And you're not paying anything in shipping. Not a dollar, not a cent, nothing. You're not going to pay anything in shipping to get this. Also, if you would like, you can get the audiobook version. For you, I would not do this for myself, but for other people, for people like you, for artists, for musicians, for creators, I'm going to read through the entire book, and I'm going to record it, and I'm going to turn it into an audiobook. And so you can add that as an order bump at checkout for just $47. That's up to you. It's optional. It's a yes or no thing. But if that's something that interests you, you can grab that. And that's what's available right now. That's the new offer. And you can find it all at indiecareerformula.com. That's my new website. That's where everything is going. That's the way of the future at this point in time. And that's the way things have been headed for a while. I just couldn't quite or didn't quite get around to it. I think I got distracted. And it's really funny how, these efforts to continue to grow creatively, what they have been teaching me. And they've been teaching me about all the things that made me uncomfortable and stopped me from moving forward and procrastinating in different ways. These are things that I did not see about myself before, that I did not see about my quote unquote business efforts before. And it's so interesting to confront them because at this point, I'm not doing any of this stuff for money. And I know that sounds weird. Like, yeah, it'll be great to make some cash from my efforts and the great things that I'm providing for the world. But it's really become less and less and less about that and more about growth, more about creative expansion, more about the disciplines and the habits that are going to continue to help me to grow as a person and build my character. And that's what it has become about more than anything else. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm acting fast. That's why I'm moving rapidly. So I can continue to confront and face those things that come up as I'm doing them and build my character and build those habits and build those disciplines. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now, as far as like websites go, I'm looking to focus on Indie Career Formula. Like SparkInfinity.live stays. The Facebook group, Spark Infinity, stays. All that is staying. All that's going to remain. It's going to be free. It's going to be, everything it has been to this point. But in pretty much every other regard, I'm not going to be doing stuff for free much anymore. I've offered people so many different things, so many different opportunities. You can find thousands, and I mean thousands of pieces of free content that I put out there. Yeah, I got paid for some, but compared to the number of free pieces I put out there, the ratio is not even close. And it's time to change that. It really is. I've come to that point in my life and my career where it simply does not make sense to keep on giving without expecting and actually getting a return on an exchange. And, look, we all access free information. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people put out free information out there. There's also nothing wrong with that. I've just found for me, that's not the way forward. That's not what I'm going to be doing. So chances are ArcticSunburn.com probably going to be forwarded to Indie Career Formula. BetterWaysToSurvive.com forwarded. Crown Wheel Publishing forwarded. DavidAndrew.com chances are also be forwarded. Old domain names like MusicEntrepreneurHQ.com forwarded. ProductivityForMusicians.com, it's going to be forwarded. Domain after domain after domain and website after website or website, I plan to forward over to IndieCareerFormula.com because I am excited about centralizing everything and packing it and loading it with value and giving it to you at a price that's honestly insane. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll talk more about this next week. Lots more developments to come. Have yourself a fantastic day, Spark Infinity. Talk to you soon.